Hey, minor spoilers. We're going to be talking about Jiro's parents, I think. Yeah. Also, there's going to be some scenes from the manga, but they will be edited and it will be out of context, so they won't spoil things for you. Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk about My Hero Academia, specifically Pair Spotlight, where we look at a pair of characters and talk about it. Today, by popular demand, we are going to talk about Kaminari and Jiro. So, as per usual, we will do history, analysis, and then talk about why people ship them. Unfortunately, because of certain reasons, the first two sections are going to be much shorter than the shipping corner. So guys, almost every pair in My Hero Academia has a relatively unique angle going for them when it comes to talking about how the pair works. This one's unique angle is that it's so liked when there's barely any meaningful screen time. The biggest arc for this pair is unforeseen simulation joint in terms of how long they were seen together. The thing is, that arc is a battle arc. It serves more as a showcase for the characters' base personalities and combat abilities. Also, because they were one of the more minor and also more hectic fights, the characters didn't have all that much time to interact between each other, as opposed to what happened with Izuku, Tsuyu, and Mineta. And this is fact. You can just count up how many dialogue scenes there were. All that said, USJ was useful in that it allowed subsequent moments to happen. It was the base, the foundation for those little moments, because the characters built up some degree of familiarity during USJ. Those moments are interspersed throughout the whole series. Like for example, say they have an interaction during the name selection episode. Of course, they have more interactions beyond that episode as well, but there's no reason to highlight them since those interactions share the same dynamic as the one in the name selection episode, which means we can be spoiler free. And that's a plus. But what is their dynamic? Well, it's pretty much they goof on each other. Jiro will always be playing jokes on Kaminari and tricking him and laughing at his misfortune, while Kaminari will sometimes get played for a sucker or strike back, especially when he has Mineta on his side. Their base dynamic is pretty much one of friends that poke fun at each other. A nice distinction though is that Jiro does recognize Kaminari's destructive potential, as she recognizes that Kaminari's quirk is powerful at its base. So that's just a level of respect pretty much. And now we get to the question, why do people ship it? Well, first let's remember the fundamental rule of shipping. All it needs is one interaction for someone to ship it. But why is it as popular as it is? We have so few moments to build from. Well, as it turns out, along with the moments, we have a few meta elements coming into play, I think. Before we get into them though, let's just throw away the frivolous reasons like, oh, they're so cute together. That kind of reasoning has no place in the discussion. It just gives you an idea of the other person's sense of aesthetics. There's not really much you can take from it. There's more interesting reasons, like association. And what I mean by that is the association of a stimulus with an emotional response. When you look at their interactions, quite a few of them end with Jiro laughing. They're having fun together, and those moments are comedic moments. Some people would smile or feel slightly elated watching those very small scenes play out. So already there's a small association playing out between the reader and material saying, seeing these two together makes me feel nice. Now the degree to which people feel that and recognize that feeling of course varies. But I will play the brain card and tell you, you aren't aware of the associations your brain has definitely created for the stimulus of laughter. And laughter itself is something people generally recognize as positive, so after seeing a jovial interaction, it's highly likely that the majority of people will be swayed by it. But that's reader and material. People could jump from their own perception that laughter is associated to joy or positive feelings, project that onto the characters, and come to a conclusion, he makes her laugh, so maybe they could end up together. When you look at it, this quickly becomes an issue of quality over quantity when it comes to the moments that they spend together. Now the more meta elements. They're kind of thematically appropriate, right? At least, that's how I see it. Yeah, their quirks don't really work well together. I mean, electricity and sound, those are pretty different, but for me, I associate those things to the music scene. You know, electric guitars and amps. Then you look at their attire and it just seems like they've got a rocker or punk aesthetic. So there's a bit of commonality there that people can kind of latch onto. And that's where the next little meta element plays out. For me, I think Kaminari and Kyoka's dad are pretty similar. They care about appearances and all that. They seem to have the same kind of traits in how they act and how Kyoka just kind of rains on their parade. I think there's something there. But truthfully, this isn't that strong of a reason. But yeah, if I was to say what probably gets the majority of the people, it's that their interactions are very positive and produce a physical manifestation of joy, that is laughter. and that gets people. For me personally though, and this is to give you a sense of where I'm coming from, I'm more into the idea that Kaminari reminds her of her dad and how ridiculous he is. It would be so funny if we got a little line of that in the manga or in the anime. It'd make my day. Like, these guys are just a funny pair of characters, and it's fun to see them just goofing on each other. But yeah, you know, these guys are a popular pairing. People really enjoy them. Because of that, there's a lot of fan art and most likely a lot of fan fiction. If you're into that, you could go ahead and look. And in terms of anything that would be competing with this as a ship, it's really going to be anything that involves... Actually, it'll probably be Momo and the Jiro ship. I know that ship is pretty popular as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me though. It's a pretty simpler video. It's a simpler pairing, but nothing wrong with simplicity. Sometimes simplicity works. And yeah, now we're at the end of the video. We're now in this little section. Guys, Tododeku is coming. I can tell you the script is already made. It's going to be pretty exciting. I can already tell you that we're going to spend probably 3 to 5 minutes talking about a graph in that video. I am so excited for that. You know, I don't know, that graph brought me so much joy. It's just a pretty funny graph to talk about. But yeah, Tododeku, it's coming. I want to try and make that video fun, but it'll be tough to see how I could do it with the editing and the little time I have. But hey, if you guys are okay with it, I have a question for you. I want to know, just help me understand, what is so exciting about these videos that you get to the point that you request it? Like, what is it in these videos that you enjoy so much? I'm not gonna lie, I was legitimately surprised at getting the amount of requests that I end up getting on these video series, and I just wonder, what is it that you enjoy? If you feel free, if you feel comfortable to answer that, I would greatly appreciate it. You don't have to, but it just helps me understand you guys a little bit more. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a great day.